Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Seminary. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. Have you heard that there might be interracial marriage overturned? I am not 100% sure of this, but though 2 years ago, a story like this was actually all out. And now it is back again. There is possibility because if you can see, everything is going. And why would somebody tell somebody whom to love? If you ask me, I love black love with all my heart. But because I love black love doesn't mean that another person is lucky enough to be in black love. They might find love somewhere else. I do not have problem where people find love. The only time I have problem is when you disrespect black people. But if they are going to start, I know someone, a prominent person in the United States who is married to a person of color, and that is Indian. That is JD Vance. So if that is something that will happen, I guess they will have to use him to set an example. So he has to actually divorce his wife straight up in our faces. So we know they are serious. But for now, you continue to live. And there are also states that I feel might be stopping that. And I learned that Indiana is one of them. But you know what? All you just have to do if you're in love is probably move to another state where you can have married, or probably move to another country, because I really do not understand this. Let's get into this video.
America's not failing because of Trump. It's failing because you don't want to lose your couch. You know what I think the Trump and the Republican Party are actually betting on? Not the courts, not even elections, not even the lies. I think that they're betting on you. I think that they're betting that no matter whatever happens, when push comes to shove, you're going to do what's necessary to hold on to your little bit of crumbs no matter what. Because let's be honest, people care more about their position in the hierarchy than the fact that the hierarchy even exists. You'll fight your neighbor over a parking spot, but you won't fight your government when it steals from you in broad daylight. You're mad, so you say, but you're not really mad enough to do anything. And see, they know that. They know that most people would rather hang on to the little bit of scraps that they have than risk those scraps to push back against something. That house you still paying the bank for, that car note, those clothes, that jewelry, all of that stuff keeps you in check more than any law ever could. And here's the irony. The same system that you claim is broken, you're still loyal to it. You'll complain about it, sure, but deep down, you'll obey it because you don't want to drop from the middle of the ladder to the bottom. So you'll protect it, even if that means protecting the very people that are destroying you. And that's exactly why this keeps happening. That's why they keep winning. Because the truth is this: America really isn't being destroyed from the top. It's quietly being surrendered from the bottom. So maybe the question isn't, can we come back from it, right? I think the real question is, do we even want to?
Okay, before I get into this, son, I'm speaking from the perspective as a white man in an interracial marriage. And this is for other white people, so y'all aren't fucking surprised when this happens. When, not if, when they come for interracial marriage, I'm telling you, there's going to be a whole lot of fucking white people that walk away from their partners and from their kids. There's going to be some of you white people right now that are like, oh my God, no way, that would never happen. You're just fear-mongering, or you're just this and that. No, listen. I've made a video about interracial marriage before, and the amount of comments that I've gotten from people about their white partners who are completely not in touch with politics or not political are a lot. You will see white partners in these marriages choose white supremacy over their own partners and children. I promise you. Because mind you, these white people have partners and children that look like the people that are being snatched by ICE. They're watching Trump on down talk about their partners being DEI hires at work. doesn't move them. They don't give a fuck. These same partners, white partners, tokenize their spouse at every turn. So I can't be racist. I have a black, indigenous spouse of color. Y'all see it on here all the time. But when the pressure hits and it's building, white people fucking fold to white supremacy all the goddamn time. That's what's happening right now on a national scale. And we're seeing it. We got concentration camps in America. We got the National Guard in LA and DC. We got ICE snatching up kids, families, deporting them. Doesn't matter if they're fucking citizens or not. And white people aren't moved to do shit. So you think when they come down and they try to attack interracial marriage, it's going to move white people? Absolutely the fuck not. JD Vance, I wouldn't be surprised if he set the standard and said, I'm leaving my wife for X, Y, and Z reason. He'll make some bullshit up. And other white Americans will be like, oh yeah, he did it? All right, yep, then it's safe for me to walk away. When you as a white person can be in an interracial marriage and you see the way the entire country is treating people that look just like your children or your partner, and you just say, I'm not political, or we don't talk about that in my house, you're fucking going to, when the government comes for your shit. Well, you're probably not, because you're going to be too scared to say anything or do anything, because you're just going to be scared about violence from other white people for being in an interracial marriage. White people as a whole value white supremacy more than anything in their fucking life. 3 out of 5 white men voted for Trump. 1 out of 2 white women voted for Trump. And everything that's happening right now is what they want. And other white people that don't have a fucking spine, or other white people that don't view their partners as human beings, that don't see their children, their biracial children, as human beings, they'll walk the fuck away. I'm calling it right now. Hey, so I'm glad you brought this up, and I've talked about this. I know I've gotten some new followers recently, but I grew up in the white evangelical church. I was in it for 30 some years. Thank God I fucking finally left. And this is the reason. And it took me a while because I was indoctrinated. But it took me a while, and then I started realizing, for as much love, unconditional love that they preach, they don't follow that shit at all. They stay silent. It's not even that they stay silent, because yes, they do. But I can tell you, they are in the church right now, the white evangelical church, talking about how this is the end days, that the white evangelical church is oppressed. They are creating even more victimization amongst the white evangelical church, so that when they go out and express this hatred, when they go out and they call ICE on their community members and their neighbors, when they go out and cheer on white cops murdering black men, women, and children, and we on the other side are like, that's fucked up. You need to be a human being. See other people as humans. And we try to let them know about their bigotry. They have been programmed so much, and yes, it's also a choice, that they will take that as a legitimate attack on who they are as a person. And that's because the white evangelical church makes sure to program us as children from a very young age to prioritize white supremacy, to prioritize our comfort, to give us an out, right? You just show love to people conditionally, and then if you don't, you can just ask for forgiveness and move on. and you'll still get eternal life. You can be an absolute piece of shit throughout your entire life, but say, hey, I said that Jesus is in my heart, so I get to go live eternally in peace, comfort, love. It's illogical. It's illogical. Meanwhile, again, the white evangelical church is responsible for some of the most diabolical suffering in this country and across the world. Now, mind you, the Jesus that isn't white would come down and be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? I said to take care of the poor, those that have needs. I told you to be an advocate for those that need support, for those that are oppressed, and y'all aren't doing that shit at all. And they would look at him and crucify him again.
Will the Supreme Court overturn gay and interracial marriage? Let's talk about it. Substantive due process is a legal doctrine that says, even though the due process clause doesn't explicitly state certain fundamental rights, it nonetheless protects those. And some of those rights include like the right to interracial marriage and same-sex marriage and privacy and the use of contraceptives. This doctrine, which I think is good, was developed over time by the Supreme Court through a series of landmark cases. These landmark cases include Griswold v. Connecticut, which enshrined the right to privacy generally and the right to contraceptives in particular. Loving v. Virginia, the right to marry a person of a different race. Roe v. Wade, the right to a pre-viability abortion, which was ultimately overturned. Another example is Obergefell v. Hodges, which enshrines the right to marry someone of the same sex, i.e. the gay marriage case. Essentially, substantive due process enshrines these rights, among others, and prevents the state and federal government from infringing on these rights without very particular procedures. It's an important doctrine. What pisses the freaks off is that these rights, which seem very normal to me, are not explicitly stated in the Constitution. Because this doctrine is ever evolving in con law, it's subject to a lot of confusion and criticism from the freaks. And by freaks, I mean largely the right. So one of the main critiques is that this is an example of judicial overreach, which means that when judges enshrine certain rights, like the right to gay marriage, that they're imposing their own policy beliefs on the Constitution. Another resounding critique is that this sort of interpretation of the Constitution is not textually based, right? Again, gay marriage is not actually enshrined in the Constitution, so we shouldn't abide by it. That's what they're saying. As context, there's this huge debate among legal scholars and lawyers and judges about how we interpret the Constitution. Some people are originalists or textualists, which tell you look directly at the text of the Constitution and how it was interpreted at the time that it was written, and that's how you should decide cases. The other normal people believe in a living Constitution, which is the idea that the Constitution should be interpreted as the society evolves, right? As the society evolves, you apply social norms and social ideas. That's how we got to the idea of gay marriage should be protected, interracial marriage should be protected, abortion should be protected. So the originalists, the freaks, think that the Constitution should not be interpreted as protecting all of these very normal social normie rights, and instead that these decisions should be left up to the states. Which is what happened to the right to abortion, right? Now it's a state-by-state decision. You can be in one state, Texas, and not be able to get an abortion, but then you can go over to Massachusetts and get one. I would like to note for you originalist freaks that per the Constitution, I'm just 3/5 the person. First, what does this frickin' mean? Well, as you know, the right to an abortion was overturned by the case Dobbs that the Supreme Court heard. The right to an abortion was one of these substantive due process rights. And in his concurrence, Justice Thomas, boo, said that we'd have to go back and look at the other substantive due process cases, like Griswold, like Obergefell, signaling that he wanted to overturn these other privacy rights that we have all gotten so used to. That freak wrote, in future cases, we should reconsider all of this court's substantive due process precedents, including Griswold, Lawrence, and Obergefell. Because any substantive due process decision is demonstrably erroneous, we have a duty to correct the error established in those precedents. But the conservative justices on the Supreme Court, right, the most important court in all the land, want to do is dismantle these rights that we have, that we cherish one by one. And they're going after gay marriage next.
The Senator of Indiana, Senator Mike Braun, just said that interracial marriage should be a decision that's taken over by the states. Remember what happened when they did that with abortion and now it's illegal in a bunch of states? That's what they're going to try to do. And after interracial marriage, not even after, maybe at the same time, they will be coming for gay marriage next. When y'all voted this Trump wannabe into office, I knew some dumb shit was about to happen. He's already cut Medicaid, been super pro-Israel, given them a bunch of money, supported a bunch of huge corporations, and given them no tax cuts. This is the list of everyone who's gotten bribes from AIPAC. And oh, there's he is. And you sold out to Israel for 75,000. Good to know. A lot of other people sold out for more, but yeah, if you go to Open Secrets, you can see all the people who were given money by AIPAC. Top Democrats who love Israel, of course, at the top. Chuck Schumer. Yup, makes sense. Now, what do we do? One, direct action is the only thing that politicians actually care about. Blocking them, protesting, going into their way to make things harder for them. And that's when they actually start listening. In 2020, when they did all the protests for the police, it was only when protests turned violent and when senators actually started to be intimidated by the level of people who were coming out, by the number of people who were coming out, and that's when they actually had started defunding the police. Now, did those things stay in place? And have they defunded the police at all? Since then, no. We have actually funded the police even more. These are genuinely scary times, but invest in your communities, disrupt politicians, get in their way, make them uncomfortable, call them, vote in local elections. I'll be posting more about that. And yeah, get married interracially as soon as possible, because that may be going away from a product of interracial marriage. Hopefully it doesn't, but
The fact that this administration thinks that it's okay and normal to tell two grown consenting adults that they can and cannot marry each other based on their race is absolutely fucking insane to me. Like, how can you end interracial marriage? How can you tell someone, a grown adult, that they cannot marry another grown adult because you don't agree that they should be able to because they're not both of the same race or ethnicity? Like, what the fuck? And the fact that we can't even still afford groceries, and the rate of homelessness is skyrocketing still, and we're worried about interracial marriage. Something bigger is coming. I don't know what it is, but it's coming. Pay attention. The fact that this administration...
Senator Mike Braun from Indiana on national television says that interracial marriages now should be left to individual states. Let me say that again. Interracial marriages should be left to the states. That's what the Supreme Court should say, he said. Where are we at, guys? We're not getting there. We're there. We are there. Anybody that's different, anything that's not aligned with certain individuals' life or what they see as normal or right is getting challenged. Think about that. Bye.
This is all I got from this video. And when I heard about this interracial marriage, I want to tell you that this story might come up again. Now that this story is a little bit going around, you all know how they do. 1 minute you will hear a story, the other minute it's already been that that interracial marriage is no longer a thing. But this has actually, like 2 years ago, yeah, the Republican actually mentioned it, that left for them that interracial marriage is a thing, and they were planning back then in some states that it won't be allowed. If you've been following this channel, you'd also remember, like 2 years ago, if I am not mistaken. Now the story is coming back again. I don't know what is next. I am not in interracial relationship. There are some people that found love somewhere, but I think it is crazy. Like, it's really crazy that people are making rules for human beings on whom to love and whom not to love. I love the fact that I appreciate Black love, right? But that doesn't mean that because maybe I found Black love does not mean you may find Black love. I don't know if that does make sense. Like, I have been telling you people that I do not have any problem with whoever you fall in love with. The only time I have problem is when they disrespect Black people, or disrespect Black culture, or disrespect Black community, or disrespect Black history. That is where you see me have problem with them, or with you. But aside from that, I am as chilled as Ice Cube. So I do not know where this one is going to at this point in time. You know why I brought this in here? Because the day I talked about Stephen Miller saying that there might be something happening in Washington D.C. Not even up to 2 or 3 days. They sent National Guards there before. So things like this, sometimes you will hear it and think, is it going to happen or is it not going to happen? Before you know what's going on, it will happen. But one thing I can say is that if you know the state where it is going to happen, you leave the state. That's the only thing that will happen. Because tell me, how are you going to divorce your husband or divorce your wife because of interracial? And also Indiana is another state that I really do not understand. Indiana. So if you are in Indiana and you are in interracial marriage or relationship, find out real quick what is going on. Maybe you move to somewhere else, because man, do not let them stop you from loving who you love. This is all I can say. But if you ask me, I love my black love. I will draw this card in here. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.